This is the KoperCrabb Podcast. What up?
I'm Cheney Crab.
I am Navene Copperweiss. We're fucking back in this thing.
Again.
What up?
Guess who's back? Back again. Navene and Cheney are back. Tell a friend.
Yeah. So yeah, we usually do this podcast once a week, but we took a break to get some music done, stuff done on our album. Would you say that we got what we wanted done while we took a break from the podcast?
No.
Or did we just watch extra episodes of Intervention?
No, we actually have gotten a lot done on the record. Wink, wink.
No, we actually have got. So yeah, we took some time off to work on our album. That's the line. And
think of it as a summer vacation. We took some time off to work on our album, and we did work on our album, and we also did some other things.
Yeah,
that were also fun.
That is true.
But we did actually get quite. We're really making quite a bit of progress on the album, so I'm happy with where we're at. And we start officially tracking vocals in a week. So
yeah, so we've basically just been writing all the patterns and getting everything laid out where it's going to go, which is kind of a first that we've done.
Yeah, we've been saying this for years, and we finally followed through with it. On every Entheos release, I think probably since The Infinite Nothing, we've been like, okay, the next album we're going to demo all of the vocals, and then we're going to track vocals after that.
Yeah.
And we never have done that until this point. So we demoed the entire record. And what we did for demoing, there are some lyrics in our demos, but a lot of it is just finding patterns.
Yeah, and just making up lyrics on like something that sounds like it would fit.
Yeah.
Like Salt to the Grave was one of them.
Salt to the Grave is one. There are a few others, but
a lot of anthems.
So what this is helping us do is that because I've gone in with a lot of lyrics in mind in the past, and then we like try to fit. So I'll go in with lyrics and patterns in mind, but inevitably we get in the studio and in the recording process, and Navene will be like, okay, I think that this would sound a lot better, more simplified. Can you come up with something that has 5 syllables as opposed to 11? And then I'm in a situation where it's like I'm rewriting lyrics on the spot.
They don't make sense anymore.
And then so this time we're framing all of the patterns, putting all of the patterns in place, and then I'm going in and writing the lyrics according to what the patterns are. So everything can be completely sensical. Is that a word? Nonsensical is a word, but everything can make sense.
Everything can be not nonsensical.
Not nonsensical.
Yeah, so that's been actually pretty fun. I've been pretty stoked with how it's coming out, to be honest.
Me too.
Because then we can just kind of do anything that sounds cool rather than having to work with lyrics. But then, I mean, you already have a lot of lyrics, right? You're just going to try to tailor them to the...
Yeah, I have a lot of lyrics, and this time I'll be like spending more time fitting them in place than I have in the past, just because of the process.
Totally.
And some things I'm writing, after patterns are done.
All right.
So, yeah.
So do you think we could use Salt to the Grave? Keep that?
Salt to the Grave might make its way into the record.
Well, there is one that I hope does make its way into the record, and that's the Take It Back part.
Yeah, it's super hardcore.
It's
the
super
Take
hardcore,
It Back part. We've got some gang vocals on the new record.
Oh, I was stoked. We did some gang vocals, and I started to get hoarse because I don't know how to do vocals.
Yeah, but I'm trying to recruit you to be the backup vocalist live.
I actually do kind of know how to do vocals, but I wasn't.
You are.
I was doing more of a yell thing to get the hardcore vibe going.
Well, didn't you also tell me the other day that there is a vocal of yours on every album that you've been on?
There's a couple vocals of mine on Animosity albums, but
yeah, I knew that.
I don't know. People would have to go dig through it and try to guess where it is.
You are pretty good at vocals, I think. I mean, to the point that I think you'd be a good backup vocalist. Like, I can trust you to know that you're gonna be like doing the
Wow.
the vocal.
That's a lot of trust.
I know, but I just know that your timing is impeccable live.
Dang.
So I think that you'll be able to
that.
like do it all on time. I just really trust you with that.
Well, it's something I should probably work on, but
I mean, you're only as good as your drummer. Your band is only as good as your drummer. I'll take that
that's
to the
true.
grave.
Yeah, I agree
I'll
with
take that to the grave.
I could even one up that.
Okay.
That your band is only as good as the snare drum sounds.
In the kick drum.
I could even deal with a shitty kick. I need the snare to be really good.
Yeah, we've learned that in the last week.
Yeah.
Well,
I learned that
we know that.
If I like the snare, I'll just like tune out the rest of it, like the production, and just be like, this is a great recording. This just because the snare sounds good.
I mean, there is a certain snare thing that has to be happening in order for me to fully appreciate the music.
Yeah. You're not getting me to be album of the year with the snare like not killing.
Not like snapping. Like the snare.
There is some exceptions. I mean, Soul Niger's snare is not my favorite, but it sounds good.
Yeah.
And it fits the music. You know.
True.
I guess sometimes I can give records a pass if it's like the snare sounds good for what it is, but it's not my favorite.
What's another record that you're giving a pass?
I mean, there's quite a few. There's quite a few.
Like?
I mean, Earth Crisis, Breed the Killers is not like, it's one of my favorite albums, but snare is not like my favorite snare.
Yeah.
But it sounds good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference between it being like my favorite cup of tea and it just not sounding good. Like if it just doesn't sound good, I'm not going to listen to the album.
Yeah.
Straight up. You know?
Yeah.
Like, what is it called? The one that everybody points to? Metallica, Saint Anger.
I think that the snare on Saint Anger is sort of intriguing.
Yeah, I know. People like it, right?
I mean, I wouldn't put myself in the category of like people who like it. However, the snare drum is a reason to check the record out, even if you haven't been into Metallica. That snare drum was heard around the world.
Creates discussion.
Exactly. So, which is next to like super good artistry, right? Like something that creates a discussion is almost as good as the really good snare.
I think I'd rather have my snare not create like a discussion.
Yeah, me too.
Unless the discussion is like, that's a really good sounding snare.
I agree with you, but neither of us have written like any Metallica albums.
That's true. That's true. And if they didn't do that snare, then there wouldn't be the Saint Anger snare, which is kind of iconic. Like legendary.
Exactly. I mean, let's be honest. There are like a million bands out there who have snares that sound way worse than the Saint Anger snare.
Yeah.
But the only reason that the Saint Anger snare could be so famous is because we're dealing with the same band that wrote Master of Puppets.
That's true. Actually, you know what? It's kind of funny. That it just popped in my head is the intro song to KoperCrabb Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That snare sounds really good, but it's not like my kind of snare. Because it's loose.
That's true.
Yeah, isn't that
weird?
weird?
Loose.
Kind of a weird thing. I just realized.
Did you strictly try that because of the like rock vibe to the intro song?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't going to be our intro song. It was just some song that we made.
Yeah, I know. But even in the demoing process, you're still really, on it about your snare.
That's true. I do love me some snares.
You do?
I'm actually going to get a new snare pretty soon.
Oh, you got that one? That SLP?
Yeah.
Really
it's
cool.
It's going to be sick. Everyone's going to be like, damn.
Yeah, it is super
snare.
Cool. When I saw it, you were like, I think this looks like a Navene snare, and I agree with you.
It looks like something that I would have custom made. So
yeah, totally.
I'm stoked on that. Anyway, so we have been gone. I've been listening to a lot of music. I have.
Yeah, I have.
But you know what really sucks?
Mm-hmm.
There was a band that I've been listening to like today, and I just found out about them. I wanted to talk about them, but I forgot to see what their name was. And
oh yeah, the band you were working out to.
Yeah, and they're really sick, and I forgot to see what the band's name was, and I used the phone to do the video, and then for some reason my Wi-Fi card's not working right now, so I don't know. I'll have to like put it on the Instagram or something.
This is a really good story. Yeah.
So I've been listening to this band that's really sick. Found out about them yesterday. They're just really good.
Can't remember their name.
I think they're called It's something to do with guilt, like display of guilt.
Grief.
No, I think
Display of guilt.
it's something like that.
Okay.
You ever heard of them?
No.
It's kind of like a blackened hardcore vibe.
I've never heard of them, but when you were listening to them, I was like, this is something that I would listen to.
You know what's actually kind of funny though is you walked out like right at the part where it like switched to like post-hardcore. But the rest of it is like aggressive.
It knew I was coming.
Yeah. Because you were like, wow, yeah, I would be into this. And like, I think you would still be into it. But
is it like nails?
No, it's more like, it's like if Code Orange was like more black metal-ish.
Oh,
it had
sick.
like it has like kind of higher pitched like screams that are really sick.
Okay, that's cool.
And the production sounds awesome. Snare's killer.
Maybe we'll find out what the name of the band is after this and put it in the description.
Yeah, or we could put some on our Instagram or something.
There we go. Yeah, we need to start like doing music of the
we did that
week
for a
or
while.
month. I know.
Yeah.
I was like, we need to bring it back to the underground.
I agree.
You know, we're getting too like
We're getting
there
caught
are
up
guests
here.
everywhere, and like we need to start bringing it back to the underground and like introducing people to music that we like.
I think that's what
Stuff
we need
like
to do
that.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I also think if we can find the time, I think it'd be really sick to put out a playlist each month.
Yeah,
that
let's
has
do it.
all the music that we've talked about.
We should definitely do that
month. So maybe we'll start.
Maybe we'll start getting serious about this whole podcasting thing.
Yeah, I know. Probably not.
A year and a half later, we have a tendency to say a lot of shit that we don't do.
It's like we're gonna do a marathon run next month.
Yeah.
And then what's great about a podcast is if you don't do something you said you're gonna do, you just don't talk about it ever again.
I know, you just let it go. Just what do the kids call it? You ghost that subject.
Just don't talk about it because most people, they probably didn't even. They're not like.
That's what we
hey,
did.
Navene said he was gonna start working out again.
That's what we did with Coco Bolo.
Yeah, we kind of just were like, yep, it was sick.
There were a lot of people who I was surprised by the number of people who hit us up and actually want to stay in Coco Bolo.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm actually down to do that.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's try to do it down the road because Navene works out of Coco Bolo.
That's right.
If they're
Navene's a working man.
Navene's a working man, blue collar MFer over here. So
tie-dye collar.
What?
Tie-dye collar.
Tie-dye collar dude over here. That's Navene. So if we can not have you work out of the van, maybe later in the year, perhaps we will do Coco Bolo. That is something we want to do.
Yeah. I was actually just driving down the street and I was like, I had this random urge to get another van.
Yeah, I think you should have another
I got a work van.
Yeah, because
Coco
Bolo
for
is like
trips.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't have a bunch of work shit in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I installed draperies and motorized shades and stuff, just in case you don't know, and you're sitting there going, oh, what does Navene do?
Well, I think that perhaps, because I did not know this until we met, what high-end draperies and
high-end
the thing that you do, I had no idea what it entailed because my mom goes and buys draperies from
Menards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that most people who aren't super rich have the kind of disposable income that it takes to hire someone to do what you do.
Yeah, for sure.
So you install incredible drapery systems in people's houses, essentially.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
And I started doing a lot of motorized stuff.
Yeah.
So
and because of that, we've
got some motorized
really sick
stuff.
motorized shades.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
A couple of them didn't work on a project, so I bought them for really cheap.
Yeah.
They were still expensive, but
because
cheap to us.
rich people actually say, "Oh, I want a blackout I want a fitted blackout custom shade that I can just press a button on my phone and all of my shades go up at the same time, or
in the whole house."
Yeah, in the whole house.
So, yeah,
or they monitor. They go by daylight. They're like lighting systems. It's really lighting people's houses.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty cool.
It's really cool, but I don't think that people really. I mean, not in my
realize.
experience. Do people know what that means?
Yeah, most people don't. And I've been doing it for a long time. And usually they're like, that's a job, huh? And it is, in fact, a job.
It's a job.
It's a lot of work, too.
Seems
But it's
like
pretty
it.
cool. And, I mean, I've obviously thought about, I should be doing music full-time or drums or whatever. But my fear is that I would just hate doing that.
Yeah.
Or that would feel the same as going to work, which I don't want it to. I want it to feel fun. And I always want to have the freedom to not do it on some days if I don't feel like doing it. So I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't tried to like monetize my music thing,
Yeah.
And I really enjoy just putting up like little videos and stuff, and there's no like strings attached. It's not like, here's this video,
Go buy something.
link
for
in
me.
bio for you to buy a lesson, or and I'm not knocking that at all. It's just, for me, it feels I have fun just being like, here's a cool video.
Absolutely.
Hope you're having a good day. That's it.
I'm not knocking it at all either, because I think it's amazing that people can make a living doing that stuff. But what I have found is that when I try to like, I guess they call it like being a content creator. When I've like tried to go all in with like, I don't know, putting up vocal videos or doing lessons or doing any of that stuff, it's like, I like the contrast of not being too far. I mean, I'm not even talking about creating at all. I don't know what I'm saying, but I just like the contrast of like not having to fill all of my time with vocal lessons or like start to feel like, oh, I'm not getting enough people to participate in my lessons. Oh, I'm not getting enough guest slots with vocals. I like not having to lean on that all the time, because I think anytime that I have like taken on too many lessons, it's become something that I just don't want to do anymore.
Yeah.
It becomes like it's a job.
Yeah, which is, if you can do that, power to you. I back it. But I guess I enjoy just having it be sort of a creative outlet. And I don't know, maybe
Absolutely.
that could change. If the right circumstance happened, that could change for sure. I mean, I did start a website and I want to put stuff on there and everything, and I was thinking about, I'll make this like a subscription thing or whatever, but I don't know, it just didn't really feel right.
I think that what has been the most fun for me, which it seems like it is for you too, is just like getting some work here, some work there.
Yeah.
Like, guest vocals. Now I do voice acting somehow, which is really strange, or like art, working on art. I like spreading my creativity out, and if I just so happen to make a little bit of money off of it, then that's really awesome. But I don't want to like have to be producing in order to make money. I like having something that I do outside of that stuff, even if it's like shipping our merch or whatever. I just like doing stuff that I don't have to engage in the same way that I have to with vocals.
Yeah. And I still treat it pretty serious. You know what I mean? We treat our music really almost as if it's a job.
Oh, of
for
course.
Sure.
Of
but
course.
It's just a different feeling for sure. And then that way I can not do, like, I get hit up to do stuff here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the position where I can just do the stuff that's like I want to do.
Yeah, because working on stuff that is your band, creating stuff that that's just coming out of you and not being forced whatsoever, that is like more so being an artist, whereas the other stuff involved is kind of like being a business person as well. Yeah. I prefer to just like be an artist and make everything for myself and not really have to like make stuff in order to sell a product.
That's true. What about breakdowns though? Would you ever make a breakdown so people liked your band more?
Would I ever make a breakdown so people... Well, I'm not really talking about it in that way. I'm talking about it in like...
No, you get to do... You don't have to do pieces of content so they'll sell.
Yeah. I don't
you
like
can do it
having
you
to...
like it.
Exactly. I like I like being an artist because it's fun for me and it's creative for me, and it's something that, like, if I am at home, I'm just going to create stuff. When it becomes like a business, it's just a totally different, it's not as much a creative thing. You're not, it's the difference between being like a photographer who gets to like live and thrive off of taking pictures of things that you want to take pictures of, and then being a photographer who maybe is like shooting weddings all the time and something. You're more living by what someone else wants than your own creative wants.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if it came to some way where, let's say, the band was making enough money to support us and all that stuff, well, then I'd just do that and just make riffs all day and stuff. That would be great. Or if I was just doing the exact same amount of work that I'm doing on my own material, or that type of work, then cool, I'll do that full time. But I don't know. I don't really want to compromise. It's not like I'm even trying to be like I'm such an artist and I want to compromise my integrity. It's like not even like that. I just don't have that kind of work ethic when it comes to making money off of music.
Yeah, same.
Like, I do think part of me for sure does do music at the level that I do, because I do know that there's X amount of people out there who want to hear it. I think, I don't know if this is probably something that when I was younger, I would have thought was like stupid to say, but like, it does inspire me that a lot of people are like wanting to hear what I consider a lot. They want to hear it. That makes me actually want to do it.
Totally.
Whereas if like nobody was into it, like I would still make music and stuff, but I don't think I would treat it as serious as I do now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the same can be said about this podcast. If people weren't actively listening to the podcast, and hadn't expressed that they enjoyed it, well, after a year and a half, it might be a little...
Yeah, like when we stopped doing the podcast, hordes of people. I mean, we got millions of requests.
Yeah.
For us to redo it.
We got like billions, actually.
Yeah, billions of requests.
I counted all of the emails.
Like, there was news articles about it. There, people, where have they gone? Why has the podcast?
Rolling Stone.
So we had to bring it back.
But it's not that you like don't also love doing it, but there is an endearing part of people being actively involved in the artistic endeavor with you. It's a lot different than constantly having to be on people like, hey, will you buy this from me, man? Yeah, because I got to pay my rent.
I know. I love not having to. I actually made a really funny classic Facebook post about this a while ago. It's probably like 6 months. A year ago.
A good old classic Navene Facebook
Actually,
post.
I read it on one of the episodes.
Really? Okay, I'll probably remember it.
It was just I kind of went on like a rant about the music industry, quote unquote, and how it kind of sucks and blah blah. Totally. And I kind of thought that a bunch of people were gonna. I said it sucked, and I was like, yeah, feel free to. I wasn't being bitter, I'm just kind of doing my thing, like making fun of stuff.
Yeah.
And like one of the things I said in there was like, feel free to never buy anything from me again, because I have a job and I like what I do with my life, And I was being facetious or whatever. I want people to buy our stuff. Obviously, I'm gonna make an attempt here to sell some stuff in a minute, but it was funny.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that like I could say that. Like, if nobody bought any of our stuff again, that's like, all right, whatever. What I do care about is that people just care about the music and stuff,
Yeah.
And I kind of had that realization lately, like, that actually is a huge satisfaction for me. Mm-hmm. Like, knowing when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I was like, I don't give a fuck about any of this bullshit, whatever. I just make it because I think it's cool. That's it,
Yeah.
And that's cool, That's like an artist thing to say.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of like, well, I almost feel like it's like I'm doing something nice for other people.
That's very
in a way. I'm like, yeah, like people want to hear this, they want to see this. here, I can give it to him, and it'll cheer him up a little bit. That it makes me feel good.
Yeah, that is a cool part of it for sure. I know what you mean,
And
but
that's
it's
not something I ever
also
really
but
thought
it's
of.
also the other. It is also everything else. It's the self, because you like write riffs 24 hours a day. You would be
Yeah.
writing riffs whether or not anyone listened to it.
I think the only thing that I would like really do all the time, no matter what, is write riffs.
Yeah, play guitar.
Yeah, because that's, and not even play guitar. I just like making up riffs. That's
Yeah.
like something that I can just do, and I never have to force myself like, all right, we need some new songs, you know?
Yeah.
There's just a million songs on the computer.
Right.
There's probably an album on there if you just, went through it all.
Oh my God. Probably more than that.
And like today, I was writing a song, and it's like, we're really not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
At all.
I'm like, the album's
It's kind
like,
of forbidden right now
Yeah, like
for us to do anything else. Like I've been putting off guest spots.
yeah. So we're in the middle of working on an album, and I'm sitting there like writing a new song. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, but to me, that's just actually really, really fun. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
And I love playing drums and doing all the other stuff, but like sometimes I have to be like, all right, dude, it's time to go in there and play some drums for a
Yeah.
while.
Well, riffs are the thing that you do most consistently. That's definitely true.
Which is
And I know exactly what you mean. And it is cool to make things knowing that there are some people who want to hear it. And that is a really cool part of the whole, being in a band thing. But I think that the other thing that you're getting at is that your goal with this, like mine, is not to become like a rock star and sell out stadiums and do all of that. It's to connect with people and also fulfill an artistic want and need that we both have. Like I love playing in our band, and I will be a part of this band forever. I love writing in it. Having people listen to it is a nice like secondary part of it. That's really awesome, and it enables us to, like you said, be more serious of a band. But regardless, we're going to be writing music. So all of that other stuff is just a super cool addition to something that we already love to do.
Totally. I mean, I think it kind of like completes the circle.
Yeah.
Like part of it is, a big part of it is making it and having fun with the art and all that. But then people appreciate it. And like for me, a lot of music has really helped me.
Me
whether
too.
it's getting through the day or keeping me inspired, keeping me excited to be alive.
Or just defining a part of life.
Yeah.
Like there's music, I can listen to a certain record or a song and it takes me back to exactly a time in my life. Like I was listening to, I heard a Toro y Moi song that popped up in a playlist of mine the other day.
Yeah.
And it took me right back to 2011 when you and I started dating. And it's crazy. Music just is so defining. So it's like we feel the same thing about artists. There's so many inspiring people out there to us.
So if I can provide that for someone else, I think that's better than my personal satisfaction of making it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better if someone else gets that feeling. Like that's even better than being like, I'm fulfilled, because you're not really ever fulfilled when you make music. It's like it's just fun while you're doing it, and then you're like 6 months later you're like, all right, this sucks, I gotta make something else.
Totally.
So it's not fulfilling in the same way. Or even people on one end, like they'll say, oh, I love like the first Animosity album or whatever, and I'm like, oh god, that's so embarrassing. But I kind of put two and two together the other day. And I'm like, well, there's so many bands where I like their first album.
Me too.
And if I said that to them, they'd be like, ooh, that sucks. But I'd just look at them like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Well, also from being inside the writing and recording process, the difference between being in a band and outside of a band is that you inside of a band are living through every moment and every good and bad thing that song brings with it.
Yeah. Totally.
And you're not listening to the music you've made in the same way that another person is listening to the music that you've made. It's
like
just
they have
totally
that
different.
attachment, like what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're like, oh, this reminds me of being in high school. Or
Exactly.
whatever.
And to me, it reminds me of a scream that I didn't scream low enough.
Yeah, I know.
Or some stupid lyric that I wish I would have like written differently. Or to you, it's like, why did I put a fucking blast beat there? Or why didn't I put a blast beat there?
Totally.
You know, it's just way different.
Yeah. So,
we're like, I think that is an artistic trait to be like the most overly analytical person in your life. Like you're the person who's going to start the train and you're the person who can stop it just as easily. And it's like a trick getting past that point where you can just let things go.
Yeah.
It's why some people get stuck just in the dungeon of writing with like they have some riffs and their riffs never make it anywhere because there's a lot of self-doubt that comes along with being an artist and a lot of like
not over here, dude.
Yeah,
you're fucking good to go.
you are a person though, you do write a lot of stuff and then you're like you put it out in the world. You don't like go back and like second guess your riffs very much.
Well, some stuff if it's shitty, then I'll just be like, oh, that's not good. But then I'll just like I'm the first one to say that it sucks or whatever.
Yeah.
Before anybody else. But yeah, I will put it out.
Totally. I mean, I think
and cry later.
You can see that with the project that you did, Navene K. It's like you just put stuff out.
Yeah. Like that, I'm kind of like, this is kind of stupid, but whatever.
But there are a lot of people who think that stuff is rad. You know, and that can be said
wrong.
for anyone.
They would be they're what's known as wrong.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It's pretty cool. I actually can like turn it off and just like listen to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like just get to a point where I'm not like judging it. And I'll just be like, well, you know what? That was pretty cool.
I can do that as well, like years later.
Yeah, years later.
It's years though.
Yeah.
I would say 5 years later. Like I'm just now able to sit and listen to Primal really and appreciate it as someone who didn't write it. Because it seems like a different point in my life now.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy that was 5 years ago.
No,
or
it was
6 years ago.
6. Yeah. Almost 7.
Damn.
Time flies.
I know.
No,
that's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that, like, you and I have been, for those of you guys who don't know, Shane and I are an item. That's right. So.
It's news to me.
You could sense that, you know, that energy. Like, I wonder if they're a couple. Yes, we are a couple. But,
they'd make a good couple. I think they should, like, try go out on a date.
Yeah. Maybe it would have been better. Maybe it would have been better to keep it a secret and then, like, people are waiting. The tension, you know, it's like building, like, what's going on?
I'm amazed. I'm amazed by how many people do not know that we are a couple. So, hey.
Well, that's why I just said it. Because some people might not know, you know.
Yeah.
I think
it's more so people who maybe listen to our band and don't.
Yeah. Like sometimes I get, especially on the podcast, we kind of just start and we don't really give like any context to stuff. I'm wondering if we should do more of that.
Oh, like we have an intro and it's like, he's Navene and I'm Cheney and we're a couple. We've been together for 12 years. We have a band together.
That would be the classic you taking it to the total extreme.
Or we could do this. My name is Cheney Crab and I'm just here trying to discover my world as someone in a relationship who also has a podcast with him.
Like an NPR type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, no, that's not what I mean. I just mean before I bring something up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, I was at work the other day. Because then people might be like, well, what's he do for work?
Totally.
I thought he was in a band, you know?
Right.
That's why I was like, oh, I do this today.
Mm-hmm.
So, because when you do the podcast every week, you just get really comfortable.
Totally. And you forget to like mention certain things,
which
we actually have a lot to go into. How long have we been doing this podcast?
I wanted to just wrap that last train of thought up. Right. And I was going to say, it's crazy that we've been together way longer in a band than before that we were in a band.
Wow. Yeah, we have. That's crazy. I remember being so anxious at the beginning, like when we started a band, and the first time that I think Evan and Frank were staying at our house and we were like getting ready for a tour. I think Dustin was there too. I was so nervous. I was like, have we made a mistake? Like
Why?
what? I was just like so, I don't know. There was a certain amount of anxiety surrounding the beginning of our band for me. And I was like,
Dang, that's
it's
crazy.
just weird. It's just
Was it
weird.
because you were young, like a younger person?
No, I think it was just because I wasn't as comfortable in
Yeah.
being like the person that I've become.
Yeah,
I
you've
guess.
grown into that front person.
Or just grown into like, okay, I guess I am in a band with my boyfriend and we are like a touring, it's just like a weird
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I never had any second guesses. So
No,
it's
it
good
wasn't
to
like a
know.
second
It's
guess.
good to
Okay.
know I was the
hate
only
to
one who was
Oh my
feeling
God.
solid about the whole
No,
project.
I was feeling really solid, but I'm just saying there was also like I can't believe we are doing this. Like,
Yes, maybe
whoa.
this is a bad idea.
No. I mean,
it's kind of like maybe
I
getting
guess.
it's like getting your spouse's name tattooed, kind of a vibe.
Yeah. What I will also say is that anxiety went away really quickly.
Okay. Well, thanks for clearing that up.
Oh my God.
But yeah, some crazy stuff happened to us. We got COVID. That was pretty shitty.
Yeah. Well, first we went to a really sick bass festival, though.
Yeah, we went to like a dubstep festival for 3 days, and with some friends of ours, which was really fun.
Yeah, it was amazing.
But so you had to get a COVID test to go in the show, which we did do, which they didn't check when we got there, but we did do the test and we were both negative. And then when we came home, I was thinking, I felt kind of shitty. And I was thinking, maybe I actually wasn't even a question. Maybe I have COVID. That didn't even come into my mind. Because I was just like, okay, yeah, we like partied all weekend. I think I'm just like really hungover, tired. And then I took a nap, and when I woke up, I was like legit sick with like a fever and stuff.
Yeah, your fever you were so hot.
Yeah. So I had a 109 fever.
No.
109? Oh, no, 103.
It was 104.
103.
It was 103. Yeah. Whoa,
Yeah,
dude.
109, you'd be dead.
109 is like, my brain is fried. So yeah.
Okay, 103, that's probably bad, I think.
103 is pretty bad. I read online 104 was when you were supposed to go to the hospital.
Okay, so I think I hit 104.
I think you hit 103. I tried to help you keep it down. We were like stuffing you full of ibuprofen and stuff.
Yeah, so I was all like, doing the like, shaking and had the shivers. It was horrible for like 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I had to quarantine myself, and I was home. We were pretty much at home for like 12 days.
Well, I found out 2 days later that I had it because my symptoms were not as extreme as Navene's. Yeah. And I halfway expected my test to come back negative. I was like, there's no way.
Right. Well, I'm always kind of bragging about like, I think that I'm like real healthy.
Yeah.
That's something I think about myself,
right?
Whether it's true or not. So honestly, I really think that, the drinking and just staying up late and partying and stuff at that fest was the reason why I got it.
Yeah.
And it just kind of fucked me up, man. To be honest, like mentally. And since then, I haven't drank or I've been 100% just straight and narrow. Like, sober, honest Abe. That was 5 weeks ago.
I drank a half a drink on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So I've pretty much been staying clean and sober as well.
We're all like
marijuana. But
so I don't know. I think like
my symptoms weren't as extreme as Navene's, but I did test positive and I started to feel super lethargic after about a week of quarantining. It was deep into it. And there was one day where I picked up like a 30-pound box of litter to pour in to change our cat's litter. And I had to go take a nap after I did that.
Yeah. Because
I was so tired. And then the last couple of days of it, I lost my sense of smell and sense of taste. But that only was happening for like 3 days. It came back really quickly. Yeah. Like I've had sinus infections where I lost my sense of smell and taste for a lot longer.
That's good because certain people get their sense of taste gone for like months.
Right. Yeah. No,
that didn't happen to me though.
I've heard sense of smell too.
So I don't know. It just kind of shocked me, and now I'm like going the other direction, all extreme healthy guy. So we'll see how long that lasts. Hopefully a while. I'm really hoping for that.
It also helps that like the
Fingers
gyms
crossed.
have been, everything reopened in California on the 15th of June. So the sauna's back open. I'm back like obsessing with going to the sauna every day, and the gym is fully open. And
Yeah.
so that
we
also
kinda
aligned with us feeling better.
Yeah, it was like we got the COVID, and then we were obviously home for weeks or whatever, week and a half. We were just getting DoorDash and whatever,
It was DoorDash.
which was pretty
for
sweet.
days.
I mean, honestly, for the first couple days, I was kind of like, this is kind of sick because I don't really want to go to work anyway. This is
Mhm.
rad. But then I think after 5 days a week, I was like, this sucks. And I want to be someone who's really healthy, who
Yeah.
who just won't get COVID,
Right.
or there's no symptoms,
Yeah.
you know? So I think compromising myself at that fest and everything, I don't know. It was really fun, but now all I think about is the COVID.
Yeah, and when you are like sick with something like that, at least for me, the whole time I'm just like thinking about what it was like when I was healthy.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, I miss when I was healthy and I could just like do whatever I wanted, and I took that for granted.
Totally.
And I was like not being the best that I could be on a health level. And so after experiencing something like that, it's like I'm turning it back around because now I'm fully capable of doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not like sick with something
No.
that's keeping me in bed all day or, you know, keeping me on the couch or whatever. So I'm going to take full advantage of that and not
Yeah, until
and be active as fuck.
until 8 p.m. And then I'm trying to watch some Intervention, dude. And
Intervention.
see other people fuck their lives
You know
up.
that I love documentaries about meth, so I've just now
Yeah.
made us watch every single episode of Intervention.
It's
which
fucking
is
crazy, man. That's just, and that's a whole other thing.
I know
That's been
Intervention
freaking me
has
out,
been
dude.
Intervention has been really inspiring for me.
Me too. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do anything wrong. I want to just be a normal, healthy person.
I know.
And there's so much people that can't do that. So
It's true. And you know, one thing that every single episode of Intervention has in common is that either the person has a really messed up mom or a really messed up dad, or they felt like at some point in their life that someone did them wrong, and they hold like a really big grudge
yeah,
for a certain situation. And it's just, first of all, made me super grateful that in both of our families, neither of us have siblings who are going through that ourselves, because
Very
I can't imagine what that would be like. And my heart goes out to anyone who is dealing with something like that, because it's insane. The other one is how well it's just like certain values that I would want to instill in my kids if I had kids.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
But it's
That's what
also,
I'm saying.
it also teaches you even more about like learning to let any grudge that you have against your parents go.
Yeah.
Like I personally feel lucky. I don't hold anything against my parents for anything. I just have never been that type of person. I have great parents, and anything that they have ever done that was like not the greatest, it's like whatever. We all grow up and learn things as we grow. That's a part of growing. And it's just made me feel really lucky that somehow I have made it through life without like harboring too much from the past.
Yeah, I mean that'll kill you. You know, like anger, hate,
Yeah.
hating people,
Mhm.
holding grudges. Yeah, makes you look old.
It makes you look old,
Makes
and
you look old.
it leads you
Straight
down
up.
destructive paths.
Exactly.
And it makes you feel like you don't have total control over your own reality. Like it seems like people who go through things like that, they think that someone else is like in charge of their world, and
Right.
they're just like a passenger, or they're just like an innocent bystander to everything that's happened to them
Right.
through other people. And I think that like there's a lot in self-worth. There's health in self-worth.
Health and the self.
Yeah. And I wish that more people could see like the great aspects of themselves.
Totally. I mean, it's in everybody. Like everybody could be doing awesome shit and feeling good and all
Yeah.
that stuff. You just have to. I guess you got to work at it.
Of course, everything is work, but it's also work to get yourself to go in the opposite direction.
That's true.
It's a lot of work to be
That's true.
the opposite person of who you want to be. So just do the same amount of work, but start focusing on all of the good things in life and start focusing on like how to get your health into a place. And I'm talking about like mental and physical health into a place where you can value yourself.
Yeah. I used to think like, okay, just think of like the coolest person that you could think of, right? And then I was like, all right, now just try to be that person.
Yeah.
It's kind of simple, right?
It's really simple. What
Does that person sleep all day and, I don't know, eat Twinkies or whatever? No, probably not. Not in my scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're getting up and, I don't know, getting stuff done, whatever.
Yeah, they're a go.
But I'm also not into the like extreme, like, I'm on my grind, like all the time vibe.
I'm not either, but I also
sucks.
just don't think that is a sustainable.
Yeah.
I think it works for very few people.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm also like, all right, it's 7:30. I'm going to chill now.
Yeah.
Until
at
11.
Night. And also sometimes I like to sleep until 10 o'clock if I went to bed late the night before. I'm not going to fault myself for those things.
I'm saying, like, okay, here's a really good thing to notice. When you do stuff that's good, it just naturally starts leading to other good stuff.
It's so true.
You know? And then if you do stuff that's not good, without very much effort, it's going to go in that direction. That's just the way it's going.
Yeah.
And so for me, I just, start like little stuff. Like keeping the cats out of the bedroom so I can go to sleep and wake up at a decent time.
Or another thing is that you've been doing lately that you got me on the kick of is doing dishes right as you put them in the sink.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's huge.
You do not know how much better it makes you feel
Makes
to
your
go
whole life
to
better.
your sink
whole
and
life
not
better.
see an entire pile of dishes and it's super daunting when you want to go clean. To do an entire freaking sink full of dishes, oh my God. But when you just do your spoon, your fork, and your plate, you're good to go.
Yeah, that's the best. I read that on, I came across this pretty cool, someone's like personal website. He's a monk type guy who lives in the Netherlands. Maybe I'll read it on the podcast because it was really cool. But he was like, oh, if you're like a beginner, like yogi, not like yogi, someone who does like physical yoga. It's like a yogi. It's like a spiritual seeker type person. He's like, if you're a beginner yogi, read this list. And it's like 20 things you should do if you're like a beginner yogi. Person who's trying to be spiritual.
Yeah.
And they were like, one of the things was like, do your dishes as soon as you're done eating. Like take a shower every day. Brush your teeth twice a day.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, I'm going to do all that. It's
It's good to get yourself into habits. And that's something that I learned when that's just something that I've learned over time through dieting and through, doing the Jocko thing when both of us were waking up at 5:30 every morning and going to the gym. That's one of those ones that was not sustainable for me. I gotta be honest.
We did it for a long time. I did it for the better part of a year.
I would say it was about 9 months.
Yeah.
I think from January to September, we were really hard on that.
I think I could do it now if I just set my alarm for 5:30.
Well, another way to do it is being sober the entire time.
Dude, I'm saying,
we
man,
drank very rarely in that time.
Here's the difference in the past. When every other time that I've not drank for a period of time, it was like so I could look good.
Yeah.
I wasn't concerned with the effect that alcohol was having on my mind accumulatively. I was considering like, well, I want to get like a 6-pack abs, so I can't really drink that much.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, it's like the opposite. Like I feel like I'm doing all this healthy stuff, so I'll stay away from drinking.
Interesting.
It's like the other way around. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm never going to drink again, but
I just personally
I'm just checking it out. I'm checking out the world sober. It's pretty sick, actually. I like it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to drink, but I just have never really been a big drinker. Like, it's not really a thing for me to go a few weeks or a month without drinking. There also is something really weird that happens in the back of my neck when I take, like, the first sip of a drink.
Here, does it happen if you do it with kombucha?
I kind of don't want to do it, but there's something that tightens in the back of my
'Cause
neck.
I know
and
what you
it's
mean.
really uncomfortable, and it doesn't give me a headache, but it's like verging on a headache.
Can anybody out there explain that thing?
Yeah.
Does it do it
I
with
think
the
it's something
kombucha or
to
no?
do with my lymph node. It takes like a second. No. I'll let you know if it does it, but it hasn't done it. I'm just someone I just like to drink water.
That's good.
I like water and a nice joint. I mean,
So that's another thing I realized about myself over the last 5 weeks.
mm-hmm.
I really love tasty beverages.
Yeah.
So sparkling waters, kombuchas. I don't know, other stuff. But now when I wake up, I've been making like a health cocktail. That's what I call it. I just put a bunch of like vitamins and those. I got those like noon tablets. They're like a bunch of little vitamin tablets. I put those in the cup, squirt a bunch of zinc in there, and I just make this jar. It's just all different types of. And I feel all hyped after I drink it.
Yeah.
Like I don't even drink caffeine anymore. I just drink that.
Since like 2 days.
I haven't been drinking caffeine for like weeks.
No, I'm talking about the new concoction that you have.
Yeah, the concoction
It's like
is great.
2 days.
The concoction is like, well, I've been doing it's led up to the concoction.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because first I would be like, oh, I'll do a noon in the morning.
Oh,
'Cause we got
I had
those
no
cheap-
idea that you've been doing the noons.
Well, we got the cheap noons at when we went to grocery outlet in Watsonville. So whenever that was. And then I got those other packets from grocery outlet, which is a really great store. If you guys don't know about it, you should probably go on Google and see if there's one near you.
Yeah.
Because they sell all kinds of supplements, a ton of vegan food. Like if it doesn't sell in a store, it goes there.
Mm-hmm.
So they have all kinds of weird.
So you know they got all the vegan
Got
options.
a lot of vegan shit.
No
'cause
one's
people-
buying that shit.
Yeah. So we go there and get all kinds of freaky vegan stuff.
But
Cheney doesn't like
another
that stuff,
thing
though.
I wanted to, I don't like processed
She likes
vegan
the
foods. I like,
Whole Foods.
yeah, it's really the cheese products. I just cannot
Cheese
fuck with
flavored
them.
product.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting and it all smells horrible. I've tried it all. I love cashew cheeses. I like
homemade.
Yeah, but what's the name of that market that you went to, Rainbow Market or something in San Francisco?
Oh, yeah.
Where you got that
Yeah.
really bougie cashew cheese?
Yeah, that's good.
I would eat that. I've been thinking about ordering some of that off of Amazon. But
They have it on there?
I don't know. I'm going to look.
Damn.
But, I would prefer like nut cheeses as opposed to processed cheeses. So, yeah, I don't.
Well, then at least at that point, it still maybe has something nutritious about it.
Yeah. That processed shit
Whereas, like,
does
yeah,
not.
oil that's like whipped into cheese.
Yeah, with
shape.
all kinds of like xanthan gum and
Oops.
stuff. But anyway, another thing that we should talk about is the Gulch show that we went to. Which
I feel like we should do that on the next one.
What?
Yeah.
Why? We're gonna forget about all this stuff.
You think so?
Yeah, dude. Why are you holding
Okay.
out?
Well, we. Yeah, that's okay.
Did I just ruin your plans?
No. That's fine.
Oh, do you want to cut this one off and only do an hour episode?
I was thinking of doing an hour and then Gulch next time
Okay, so we're
Because-
gonna talk about.
because that's kind of a crazy story. We
Yeah.
might want to like kick into that. Maybe even have some of the videos on hand that we could play.
I don't know if we should do that.
Don't play the videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's probably a bad idea. I don't know. Okay.
Because
we
there's
can
some
talk about
other
it next
there's
week.
some other big stuff. Should we go into big news at 53 minutes? Is what I'm wondering.
I don't care. I'm over it now. I'm ready to cut it off now.
I'm turned off.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about it next time.
Okay. Well, hey, we really just wanted to check in. We wanted to let you guys know.
Well, Navene did. I didn't know that. We were just checking in.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Gulch show.
No, I'm down. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Well, yeah, we missed you guys. That's something that I realized today when I was setting up for the podcast. Seriously. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I miss doing this.
I
This
do
is really
too.
fun.
It's fun to do. The podcast is fun. I think that really it's just like we were at a point where we are having a ton of guests on, and then it requires a lot more than just getting on and doing a podcast.
Yeah.
So we'll probably it'll be us for a while. We have some cool guests planned, but nothing until like a few months down the road.
That's right.
So
But you got the two hottest guests
in podcasting history,
right
I
here
believe.
at your disposal. So
Top two.
another thing though is we do have merch left. KoperCrabb merch.
There's
that
something
is.
we should say at the beginning of the
Yeah, I know.
podcast.
Hour in for no one
like-
who's left.
Go and buy it.
Do we have stats on like how long people listen for?
Yeah, I never check them. We
Uh,
have them.
I want to know.
I'm
how
not
long-
an analyst.
I want to know how the average listener is. And then
I would guess
make,
it's like a half an hour.
let's just make the podcast a half hour then.
I know.
And then
kill two birds.
Yeah. Just get
then
that average.
That's how you beat that. That's a big brain. That's yeah.
It's universe brain.
Universe brain.
Just make it the average. Listen.
Yeah.
And then
duh.
That we can make like 2 shows out of 1, or sometimes like 5.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't
Bingo.
know. You know what's funny is people actually have commented and been like, more 3-hour podcasts. Because we did
like,
one for like 3 hours once.
You know what I will say, though, is that I will be going through some podcasts that I listen to, and the longer ones, I'm like, okay, this was a better conversation.
Yeah, I know. And another thing is like, well, it kind of depends. If it's a regular thing and it's like the same people on every time, it doesn't need to be 3 hours.
Right.
But if it's a guest that's rarely on,
yeah,
maybe it should be 3 hours.
That's true, because I do only judge the episodes that have guests on them. I'm like, okay, that was a really good conversation. Okay, not so much.
Wait, ones that you're listening to or ones that we're doing?
Ones that I'm listening to. I don't judge the podcasts that we do. I just move on.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, sometimes there's been a couple episodes where I've been a bit embarrassed. I've talked about it. Just being a little tipsy.
F it.
That's another thing. You know, I'll probably say stuff that's stupid still, and I won't have the excuse of that I drank too much.
Right.
So that's kind of actually problematic now that I think about it.
All right, let's sign off for the week.
But yeah,
we
anyway,
actually do have some work on our album
that
to
is
get
true.
done.
That is
there
true.
We go.
That is true. And also, we have some shirts. They're super sick. These are the designs. You can't really see them. This one looks like a Ninja Turtles, but it's not. It's
Morbid Angel.
They're all they're
rhymes with schmorbid.
They're all
schmangel.
they're takes on some of your favorite designs of all time. And we have other merch and stuff. We have a lot. We have so much more to talk about. Like, we kind of need to cut it up into 2 episodes.
All right.
You know what I mean? Because you have some stuff that we didn't get to.
Yeah.
And but anyway, yeah, on the website, the KoperCrabb Big Cartel, we have shirts, 3 different designs. Are we out of mugs?
Yeah, we've been out.
Okay, we're out of mugs. We should probably re-up.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually got a pin machine, like making those little old school 1-inch hardcore pins. And I made a bunch of KoperCrabb pins. So
yeah,
I don't know.
We'll send them out.
If anybody wants one of those, you got to holler at Cheney because I'm not sending it.
And on that note, have a good week, you guys. Hopefully our ranting didn't throw you off too much. We have a lot to talk about. We didn't even really.
Yeah.
We didn't even really pop the can.
All right. Now, we'll see you guys next.
Is that a saying?
Pop the what?
Can.
We didn't pop the can. Yeah, okay. It is now. All right. We're going to pop the can again next week. And we'll see you guys. Thanks for supporting. Like and subscribe. And smash the like button.
And smash the subscribe.
Peace.